I kind of tell
we're both excited.
I'm real excited. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 35, coming at you from the PETM Podcast Studio in Atlanta, Georgia, for Friday, February 19, 2016. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace, joined as always by Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin.
That's me. Man? I'm Andrew Sherwin.
Man, I'm giddy today, I guess, because I've been in New York City all week long. And,
City Slicker?
Yeah, City Slicker, right. I actually like New York. New York's a fun place, man. And me and you got to get up there at some point.
Yes.
But and you've been in North Carolina for at least a couple days, right?
One night. 600 miles of driving for one night and a 2.5-hour meeting. Awesome.
Oh, that sounds very productive and, what would you call that, efficient.
Efficient for sure.
Well, man, we got a co-host tonight, don't we?
Yeah, we probably should let him talk here instead of hogging the show.
Right. Our co-host tonight, coming at you from somewhere near Houston, Texas, is the Right Front Tire at T Right Front Tire. Evan Stark, and runs the website therightfronttire.com. Y'all give him a follow and give him a listen and everything else. Welcome, Evan. What's happening?
You can see him show up on the NASFARC podcast.
Ah, okay. Evan, we still got you?
Holla.
Yeah, there he is.
Holla. What's going on? How you doing?
Holla back. Evan, we start this whole deal off the same way for 35 weeks now straight, and we've had drivers do it. We've had media do it, so we're doing it again. What you drinking, Sherwin?
What I've got right now is none other than the Red Hair Sticky Stout, and oh, how sticky it is.
Ooh, I'm dealing with I'm still going on the Terrapin thing. I think I've had the same 12-pack of like a tackle box of Terrapin for 6 weeks now for some reason.
They don't suck.
Yep, I got the High Five IPA this time. So I got the board and everything. So, Mr. Tire, what you drinking on?
Oh man, y'all sitting down, grab something, each other, or something. A handle, water.
All right.
How you like that?
Hey, to each his own.
That's right. We haven't made fun of nobody.
We don't make fun.
You ain't living on the edge.
Yep.
You ain't living on the edge. You're taking up too much space.
I've been living that way for a little too long, right?
No kidding. So, Evan, you run a blog site. Tell us about the blog site, or I call it a blog site, but I guess we have a quote-unquote blog site too. But tell us what you're doing on there.
The reason I started the Right Front Tire, the primary purpose was I thought there was a need for promoting young, up-and-coming talent, diverse talent, people of different cultures, different genders. There's a lot of talent out there racing on weekends all over the country, small tracks, dirt tracks. Don't do a whole lot of dirt. I haven't done a lot of dirt yet. But I kind of felt like there was a need. I mean, you know, the big guys, the elite level guys, they get cameras and microphones pushed in front of them all the time. So I always think kind of about the little guy. You know, when you think about the Dale seniors and the people that came before this group, the Pearsons and whatnot. They started off as just average guys like us, and rose through the ranks and rose to the top of their game. So I think that there's people out there like that. And I think that in order to promote the sport, in order to make NASCAR more successful and to continue to grow, I'm trying to cater to the younger generation, let them know that, hey, there's kids out there 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, climbing into race cars every weekend and having a good time and putting on a good show for fans. So that's really kind of where my focus has been. And man, talk about blessed. I get to talk to race car drivers all the time. I get to write about it. Every once in a while I get a like or a retweet, holla, that kind of thing. And it's just a lot of fun. So I kind of want to stay going in that direction. I've got more interviews lined up for this year. I'm really, really excited about. I'm going to interview a road course driver, believe it or not. So I'm just kind of going where the road takes me and having a good time and trying to give back, anything I possibly can.
Our first interview was with Matthew Bishop, one of the photographer guys, and done some great stuff. And I think one of the last things we asked him was who should we look for up and coming, because he does all the short tracks and all that sort of stuff. And it was one of the more interesting questions that I think we've asked people, or that we've asked anybody yet, just because hearing the different names and hearing him get excited and everything because of folks that he knows. And as we've seen, even in the last, I would say, 7 days, these guys are real accessible too, because they want to get their name out there and they're excited and they're getting started up and everything. And so being able to just talk to these guys is really cool. And then you see their name on NASCAR.com and then on TV and everything else. And, if they have a good finish, they'll talk to them. So it's kind of, I guess, even starstruck in my book to see some of these folks on TV and stuff that we've talked to. But, I think that's real cool, the accessibility. And I think it's cool that somebody out there is blogging all that sort of stuff. Sherwin?
Yeah, it really is neat, and it was something that we didn't have any visibility to until we really started diving deep into this podcast and Twittering and stuff. I mean, we've been really loyal followers of the National Touring Series when they're on television, even as far down as ARCA and K&N when those races are on. Certainly drummed up a lot more interest when the local product Chase sort of hit the national scene on the Touring Series. But it's been really awesome to hear those sort of behind-the-scenes things, and then watch these people like Rico Abreu. Sort of, I mean, he.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I was looking at the starting lineup. He's starting 18th tonight.
Oh, cool.
So, it's just been really exciting to get more, like, a wider range of information to enjoy racing even more. So we really appreciate stuff like what you're doing, because it helps us enjoy the sport more.
Do you have a?
Well, thank you.
Do you have an interview? Well, I'm not going to ask you to burn it on the PETM podcast, but is there a post coming up soon or anything?
There will be, actually. It was going to be today, but I'll be interviewing Grayson Raz. I don't know if y'all have heard of him or not.
I don't know.
It'd be hard not to recognize the name. He's a he's a growing talent in the sport right now. I believe he's ARCA now. I'll be interviewing him here in the next day or so. I'll be publishing that probably after it goes through editing. I actually have a dyed-in-the-wool editor now, a real editor. Let me explain something to you. I'm a mathematics guy.
Welcome to the club. Yeah, or I guess maybe we're welcomed.
What that means is I don't use a lot of punctuation, so unless it's in an equation. So anyways, I'm really excited about that. A young lady by the name of Hillary Frank. She's actually a photographer / road racer. I'll be interviewing her here before too long as well. I'm really excited about that. I have a couple others in the works right now that I can't be too forthcoming about until that breaks. But like I said, I'm really excited. It's going to be a really good year. I started this season off, before the season even kicked off, I had the 2 definitives in the bucket with about 3 or 4 more to follow, possibly more forthcoming, of course. I mean, that's great. Over last year, last year I kind of had to beg, borrow, and steal. I had to do a lot of digging to get what I got. I got some good ones. And if you follow the site, if you've read some of the articles on the site, my God, that I really was blessed to have the guests that I've had so far. So a lot of talent in that pool already.
Very cool. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to some guests that we don't even know who they might be yet, but every time right now, I mean, just every time because Sherwin's kind of taking care of that part. And you said mathematics, guys. Let me tell you what, we've got a website that's up and running and firing on all cylinders. I've got a mixer here that's plugged into a docking station that's recording all this stuff. We've got dial-in people, everything else. We got the technology down. We're just still trying to figure out how to even run a podcast. That was kind of second. So hopefully that's working a little bit.
How am I supposed to talk on this round spongy thing?
Yeah, where do I grab?
Oh man!
One thing we always ask everybody who comes on: who's your favorite driver? We make no bones about the fact that we both, somewhat coincidentally, I would even say, root for Casey Kane. We talked about individually how we came to like him on, I guess, separately. But who's your driver? Who's the guy you're rooting for and you got the hat for every Sunday?
Oh man, this is going to sound really cliche. I don't really have one. There are people whose careers, and this might not make sense to some, but it will make sense to people that have some emotion attached to history. There are some drivers that I have followed since their very first televised race all the way to this day. especially the big ones. Kevin Harvick, for one, when he climbed into the 29 car after Senior's death. I still get goosebumps when I talk about it. That was such a trying time for the sport. It was a difficult time for the sport. And there was something about him getting in that car and making a run, basically getting called up, and Mr. Childress telling him, hey, it's time to do this, especially after everything they had gone through. And, Richard Childress had kind of gone through whether or not he wanted to stick with the sport. There for a while, he was thinking about giving it up. And it was actually a conversation he had with Senior, basically Senior telling him, don't ever quit. No matter what happens to me, whatever happens down the road, don't ever quit. So he's one guy that I like to watch, but I try to stay kind of neutral when it comes to picking drivers. I've got a lot of favorites. There's a lot of talent out there. I mean, it's hard for me to pick. I've got diecasts from everyone you can possibly think of. I've got diecasts from guys that aren't even driving anymore.
That's awesome.
I don't. There's just kind of so much. There's so much good. If we sat down and talked about every single driver in the Cup Series, I could probably find the good in every single one of them. So, but if you want to talk about the person whose career I followed the most, it would be Dale Senior, was someone that I was always interested in. Jeff Gordon was a guy that I always loved. Who can't love Dale Jr.? Sorry, but he's a great guy. And I said Kevin Harvick. I've followed Kevin Harvick, pretty much since he came up through the ranks. So, there's just so many. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was a Ricky Rudd fan. I wish he was still driving. Put Ricky in a car again.
Rooster,
oh, man.
Rooster, yeah.
Yeah, we liked Ricky Rudd too.
Oh man, just great guy. Of course, I don't know if y'all got to remember the Kevin Harvick thinking he was going to jump on Ricky. I don't know.
I love watching that segment. Rooster would have pecked him to death. Sorry, Harvick fans.
Oh man, yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm so ambiguous. It's just it's so hard for me to throw a dart and hit one. I'm so passionate about it. I love watching them battle it out. And if Kyle Busch wins, I'm like, oh man, what a driver. Casey wins, man, what a driver. Harvick wins, man, what a driver.
Yeah, for sure. I think the more people we start talking to, the more stuff we're doing like this, and the more drivers that we talk to. Like right now in the Truck Series, my favorite driver, Ryan Ellis.
For sure.
Talked to him last week, got his whole story and everything. I've been following him all week. I mean, all week I've been looking and seeing, all right, where's he going to qualify? What's he going to do? What's this going on? And so I can see myself, the more and more we talk to these guys, and like you said, they're down-home guys, the more that I'm going to be less of a rooter and more of a follower as it may be. I think maybe me and Sherwin also got in at a time where it's like, all right, NASCAR is starting to get big, and we're starting to follow. I always say about 10 years ago, but I've done that for like 3 years in a row now. So it's been a while that we've been following. But starting rooting for a guy, and that's what we tell other people. Just find your driver, watch him on the track, and then it's no longer cars going around in circles. Now you're watching a guy who's doing strategy and all the rest of it.
Right. Yeah, well, I can tell you what. I can tell you, and I will tell you this, and I'm going to sound like a little bit of a fanboy, and that's okay. I'm not ashamed about it. I was cheering, yelling at the TV when the 4-car won the championship. Just for whatever reason, I found myself completely mesmerized at kind of the struggles that he had at RCR. A lot of wins, did a lot of really good work with RCR. And then all the tribulations he went through going to Stewart-Haas, and then that season to me was kind of magical. And for some reason, when I don't know, man, when he crossed the finish line, I ran through the house yelling. I told my wife, Harvick won. She just looked at me like a total madman.
That's awesome.
Because, like I said, I mean, you watch someone throughout the years, and you watch them race and win and win and win and win. And you always wonder, when is this guy going to get his chance, So, and yeah, I'm a big Ryan Ellis fan. He was one of the first guys that gave me a shot at an interview. And to me, I was in the presence of superstardom. I mean, this cat was running in the Camping World Truck Series. He'd ran in the Xfinity Series. To me, I thought I was in the presence of greatness. Of course, I was. I mean, Ryan is just a stand-up guy.
Well, yeah, this is the PETM podcast 7 days ago, whatever it was. So I'm with you. I hear you. So we got some questions, and Evan, appreciate you throwing out there the hashtag PETM35, and we actually did get some folks ask us. So I guess let's start off with Kenny Smith, our good old follower, Kenny Smith. Kenny, what's happening? Kenny asked us who's our pick for all 3 championships. Now that this season seems to have tires on the track, we might as well talk about the end of it. I wouldn't even know where to go with this question right now. And the only thing I could say is in Cup, I would pick Kyle Busch, because guess who is I guess he has the most momentum at this point, having just won a championship. Now the other two series, I think it is worth talking about. They've got the new championship format, so I have no idea who to pick. It could be anybody. Now we've talked about before on the PETM podcast. It's probably going to come down to the top folks again, but in the end, it's who's going to win Miami or whatever. I don't know.
Okay, so let's go ahead and pick. The Cup Series champion. I'm going to say Joey Logano, and I've got some reasons to support that.
Oh, I'm a big fan of that.
A whole bunch of reasons to support that.
You don't have to explain them to us.
Yeah, you could go on and on and on. I in my mind, I had him pegged last season. So I think it's time for another Penske car to wind up with a championship. That's just my opinion, but.
I'll throw this out there. Do you think he can do what it takes to win against 4 guys in the last race?
Absolutely.
I think as far as points go, I think he absolutely can win a season. But maybe I'll just throw that out there, just being devil's advocate.
Okay. Well, if you would like for me to speak to that, I'm more than willing to. What I've seen and I'll have to go into a little bit of detail about the dynamics of what I see with Penske, if you don't mind, for a minute.
Please.
And that is, you've got Brad Keselowski, who, he was kind of the kid in the Cup garage. If y'all remember when he started in the Cup Series, he was underfunded, didn't have a whole lot of money, and he kind of got greatly overlooked. What an understatement that was, because Brad Keselowski is just immensely talented and fiercely loyal. He's very fearless
and smart as hell.
He's smart, and he is out there. And I know everybody's out there to win. Don't get me wrong. This is a really big business, so I know they're all very competitive. Brad has got an edge to him that I haven't seen in a long time. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got Joey Logano. Joey Logano, he came into the sport, and he had some money. He was picked on a lot and beat up a lot. But the turning point for him, and this is going to sound horrible, but just hear me out. A lot of fans are probably going to throw tomatoes at us. But the turning point for Joey Logano, to me, was when he finally had enough and he went after smoke. And I don't think it was a smart idea. Obviously, you just have to be 3 bits to insane to go after that guy. But I think the fact that something snapped and he finally realized, it's obvious that I don't have a whole lot of friends, so I guess I'll just win races and make enemies. And him and Brad kind of share that edge, and they've got those two are real strong supporters of each other. I think they're big fans of each other. And Joey, to me, is just completely talented. He's totally fearless. Last season, it was a phenomenal season for Joey Logano. I mean, he kicked it off with a Daytona win, and in my mind, I said, that kid's going to win a championship. I mean, there's just something about watching the way that team operates. He's got a brilliant mastermind on the box. Gordon is, I don't even know if there's words to explain it. But I think that the team has as much to do with the championship as the driver does. So he trusts Todd Gordon for good reason, and he's got a fantastic car. And let's face it, Penske's not going to run out of money anytime soon.
So we got a question from the Periscope folks. There's some serious competition over at JGR in that respect. I think he's got a bone to pick in that respect too. So I think it's a great pick, and I also, me and Sherwin were. I think one or the other of us was picking Joey for just about every race last year, or at the end of the last year especially.
Well, the reality is, if we look at the last 6 races, if not for what goes down with Kenseth, he probably wins 4 or 5 of the last 6 races. I mean, he won 4 of them. He probably was going to win Martinsville. Nobody was catching him that day.
No.
And so I think it's very appropriate, the whole career thing. I thought the beginning of the turn for him was when he went after Harvick verbally.
I was about to say, was that the same year that he went after Harvick? Was when he went after Stark?
No, that was a couple years apart.
Okay.
So
that was different.
Harvick did to him at Pocono exactly what he did to Kenseth at Chicago. And then Joey went out and won Pocono the next year in his last year in the 20. And then we had Fontana, what's that, 2 years ago with the water bottle chunking and the blocking and all that stuff.
And the who wears the pants in the
well, that was
family.
The Pocono deal.
Yeah.
That with Delana Harvick created a whole charity thing out of that. I wear the fire suit in this family, which was she's a businesswoman, y'all. She nailed it. Way to capitalize on the situation.
Well, they don't like each other. They don't like each other, but I can tell you right now, I think there's an immense amount of respect between those two. They might not like each other, and I don't think that they do. I don't think there's any love lost. But I think that they respect each other, and I think you count Joey Logano out at your own demise. That's my personal opinion.
Now, Sherwin, you've been pocketing a topic for a couple weeks about Joey versus Matt.
Oh yeah, so I threw this dart at the wall a couple weeks ago when we thought we weren't going to have enough content, and then we ended up having Ryan Ellis.
That'll happen.
But so my comment was, and it's deliberately polarizing because that's the whole point. You want to drive the conversation. Is what we saw during the chase last year with Joey taking the position in an aggressive fashion and then a retaliation from Kenseth. Okay, so in Joey's career, did we witness the changing of the guard, or did we witness young driver gets put in his place? Because I think we saw changing of the guard.
What do you mean by that?
Young driver establishes himself as a race-over-race threat to win, and we have an older driver who is going to be around for a long time, and I think he's still going to win races. But I think it's less of a lesson learned and more of a establishment of position in the sport.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I like that. I'm not going to say changing the guard yet, because even though the Joey's young, I wouldn't say he's even. He's still second. He's second generation now, right? The first generation guys are your Chase Elliott and still Kyle Larson and those folks. I think Joey's now among that very small, I guess, second group of folks right now. Austin Dillon in that first generation still. So, or maybe it is a change in the guard. Now he's going to be one of the old farts, one of the this is how it is kind of thing. That's a good point.
Not so much. I think you're looking at it differently than my perspective.
Okay.
So my perspective is we've been talking about Matt Kenseth since he came in. Matt the Brat was the nickname he got at the short tracks because it rhymed. It didn't have anything to do with his behavior. But he won races, he won a championship, and it went over to Gibbs and started knocking them out of the park, 6 and 7 wins. One last year seems like an anomaly with as much speed as Gibbs had. But what I mean is, week over week, the media is going to want to talk to Joey as much or more than they're going to want to talk to Matt Kenseth. That's what I'm saying in terms of changing of the guard.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go ahead and step out on a ledge, and I'm going to say it's a little bit of both. And I guess I'll qualify that with this.
Going to take your half out of the middle.
I think it's yes and no. I think that it is a changing of the guard, and I think that is, like it or not. I was thinking about this on the way to work this morning about what the future holds. Right, so you've got a handful of drivers, a couple of them. You got Smoke. You've got, of course, he's retiring after this season, which is really sad, but Obviously, it's a natural order of things. Of course, Gordon is gone. You've got several guys that are getting up there in their 40s. They're getting a little bit older, and you got to kind of start thinking about end game at some point. At what point do you decide to bow out while you're still on top? Matt is very much a thinker. He's a strategic driver. He tries to stay out of the fray. He tries to stay out of the limelight. Joey is a very intelligent race car driver, and he's very strategic. And he is also totally unabashed and unafraid. And if you look at this wave of young, new drivers coming up, Joey is kind of part of a tidal wave of that mentality. Hey, I'm young, but I fought just like all of y'all did to be here. I'm not going to be underrated. I'm not going to be overlooked. I'm going to push my car to the front. And if you don't like it, well, that's fine. I'm 8 foot tall. We can talk about it after the race too, if you want to.
And you'd mentioned
Joey has been.
Go ahead.
He's been establishing himself. I mean, Joey didn't just come up on the scene last season. He's been steadily making a mark. Every season, he's becoming more and more significant in the sport. And let's face it, he's very young in his career. That guy's got a lot of years of racing ahead of him. And we're just kind of seeing the tip. We're just kind of seeing the scratch of the surface.
He's only 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't wait to see, what 5 years down the road holds.
Sherwin, who you got for your pick for this year? Just to start off, why not start it
2016 Sprint Cup champion?
Sprint Cup champion. I said Kyle Busch, and I'm just not even going to explain that. But we got Joey Logano.
On the repeater?
On the repeater, yep. Got caught doing the repeater.
I'm going to go with what for me is a feel-good story, and I think he's got the speed, the talent, and the team to get it done. And I'm looking for a second championship from Shrub Sr., Kurt Busch.
Wow. You've left us both speechless.
I just created the worst thing you can have in a radio program is silence.
Dead silence, the crickets and everything. Feel good story. It goes, man, he goes feel good, feel bad, feel good, feel bad, cuss out Dr. Jerry Punch, and then, get
was tough.
Railroaded by a weird ex-girlfriend, and then so you feel bad. Like it's the back and forth.
There's no shock to where she falls on the hot, crazy matrix.
Well, one thing that you and I have talked about before, every person, when you ask drivers who's the best wheelman in NASCAR, who's your best competitor, everybody says Kurt.
Right.
Everybody does.
So if you can put it together between the ears, which it feels like he might
like
have.
Yeah.
He's had 2 positive years in a row,
Yep.
which is the first time ever that's happened. So, that's where I'm at.
I like it.
Let's go, Kurt.
I like it.
Great pick.
Well, let's save the other 2 championships for later on, so we don't spend too much time on that one. I like this next question though from Tomahawks 47, TOMAHAWKS 47. What are you most looking forward to this year? And Mr. Right Front Tire, we'll let you kick us off there.
Let me kick that off. I'm looking forward to the new aero package. I really, really am. I don't know what fans are looking for. God knows they can certainly complain a lot. So I don't really know what the magic combination is going to be. But I think some of it is going to begin with getting cars side by side, a little bit of slipping and sliding, a little bit of fender banging, a little bit of hot tempers. And I don't think it's delivered in a long time. So I'm kind of excited to see the aero package. I'm really interested in seeing what that provides and understand that I know a little bit about aero, probably enough to get myself killed. I know that airplanes fly in the air, and that's a good feeling. But I'm excited about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'd echo that sentiment for sure. And also, guy that asked the question, Tomahawk 47, reckon he's a Tom Glavine fan? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he'll say something. Sherwin?
What am I most looking forward to? That's the question we're having.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to just say exactly what Evan just said, but among the things I'm looking forward to is the downforce package. I'm just looking forward to the race starting. let's. I mean, I watch them all. Like, pretty much, I watch it all always. Anything I can get my hands on the weekend when it comes to NASCAR. And I mean, it sounds like this new aero package is something that the drivers that we tend to attach ourselves to, that's something they want. You know, the guys that came from dirt, they want to slide around a little bit more. Carl, Roadblock Newman, Tony Stewart when he gets back, Casey Kane. Brad Keselowski didn't really come from dirt, but he loves to drive a car that's not very stable. I'm not necessarily demanding that I see side-by-side racing. What I want to see is that the cars that are faster, that can generate more mechanical grip, can go faster than the cars that have a better aero situation by being out front.
I'm going to give you a couple answers here for me. First, and this is maybe selfish or whatever you want to call it, this will be PETM podcast's first full season in NASCAR.
That's right.
And woo is right. If I ain't lying, I'm sitting here telling you the thing I'm looking forward to most is sitting behind this microphone and talking with folks like Right Front Tire here. Hopefully, make this maybe a regular or somewhat regular thing, and just talking about what happened in the last race. Looking forward to the drama, then looking forward to talking about the drama. And then if I want to be even more selfish or along those same selfish lines, Atlanta, Bristol, Darlington. Looking real forward.
Well, looking forward to the ones we're going to. What about that other one we talked about?
We did talk about, but
we won't bust that out here. But, yeah, so.
We got a few other things. Of course, we just had the Can-Am Duels.
Which didn't that sound weird? That sounded like a motorcycle or a supercross or
I was
some
thinking,
kind of X Games racing.
Right. Can-Am Duels.
I mean, welcome Can-Am to NASCAR. Thank you very much for being here. It was kind of a shocker to go. Did we go from Gatorade straight to Can-Am, or was there a year where there was kind of some dead space?
It might have been something weird. I don't remember. But I looked up. I actually was looking up the start time, and I said, I can't remember the sponsor. Gatorade Duel 2016, and boom, Can-Am Duel right up. So good on them for having the SEO or whatever we call that for search engine optimization.
Oh, right.
Against that. Let's talk about those. So I'll give a little shout out here to the Over the Wall Race podcast folks. Kathy from Over the Wall Race wrote a good article. Everybody should go take a look at that. But she talked about blocking, and blocking is the thing.
We were engaged over Twitter a little bit about that.
So blocking is the name of the game right now, and it's whoever blocks the best. And I think she gave a really good, in my mind, the visual of it. If you're trying to think about it, and she was talking about, I don't want to burn her story here, but really talking about how that bubble, it's almost like putting a big balloon or a big ball in between the car behind you and you if you're in first place. So right behind you is this ball that they kind of hit and push you forward, and they can't bust through that, but the guy on the outside is busting through that, so you got to go block him. So it's blocking. So
yep.
Mr. Tire, what do you think?
Absolutely. Actually, I don't know. I thought was it last year? Wasn't it last season the Budweiser Duels? I don't know. I digress.
Can't remember. That'd be cool.
I don't, honestly, I don't remember. And I don't know why. I guess I just don't put a lot of stock in the duels. It's great because it's a race, right? So we're all like, oh, yeah, we're going to get to see some racing. And,
yep.
But, last year it was a wreck fest. You know how it goes. First duel is calm and the second one's insane or vice versa. But, yeah, I mean, first of all, it's something very technical. Blocking on a plate track is not just about keeping the person behind you. Not only do you get a little bit of push, DW likes to say that aero push, get some aero push. He loves saying aero push. I don't know if it's just his accent or what. I like hearing him say it. He has a smooth voice. But it also has a lot to do with the push, right? Exactly what was just said. And not only are you taking some of that force to help push you forward to gain some momentum, you're also taking some of that energy off that car because you're actually literally lifting some of that air pressure off the front of the car. So you're actually helping yourself and you're kind of hurting the person behind you. It's like when someone gets a really big run. I love seeing that race when someone gets a really big run and they have a couple people behind them and they punch that huge hole in the air. It doesn't take a whole lot to stop them. It seems like they get real close to that lead car, and then all of a sudden, it seems like they get further and further away. Basically, what they've done is given that lead car a huge advantage. So if someone doesn't break that air pressure, all you're doing is giving the person in front of you a huge push. It's almost impossible to catch them. That's what I like about that racing is that. The rest of it, to me, honestly, I know I'm probably going to get shanked for this after the show, but to me, restrictor plate racing is kind of exhibition.
Oh, we talk about that often here on the podcast, that we have 180 laps of going around in circles. In our most prestigious and premier event is 180 laps. They got Daytona Day, they got all the advertisements and everything. They got all the eyeballs that are fixing to be glued on it. Now, what are they going to watch? The people are going to tune in, the new NASCAR fans or the folks who just want to see what it's all about, and they're going to watch the first 180 laps going, what are we watching? Why are we doing this? What?
Well, the fear is we'll never get to 180 because the first 100 will be so parade-like they'll just leave.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying there. So,
frog in my throat.
Same here. I don't know what's going on. So if y'all hear us clearing throats, I don't know what the story is. But those last 5, you said it gives that guy in front a big advantage. I think that's probably the most stressful advantage there is, isn't there?
Yeah. Well,
sure.
And to piggyback on what Tyra was saying is, it's not even so much that when you pull down in front of a charging line that you get a surge for yourself. It's that you stop that whole line. Like they have to regroup and try again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think one of my favorite things seeing in those last 5 laps of drama is when somebody does, when the blocking's going on, but maybe they got, for whatever reason, somebody gets that quarter panel, right? And then it's, all right, what's going to happen now? Is he going to try to come back down there and wreck himself and the whole field out? Is he going to try to, what happens next? So when they actually do get that advantage, I like seeing that. Usually what will happen is that line gets a move up. Now it's that guy's turn.
Yep.
So, I think, we're running up against some time here. So let's get to one thing that we haven't done in a long time, Sherwin, and that's this guy.
love that guy.
Oh, that's our guy. We play him every week before we do picks. He did that was before a truck race last year, right?
Yeah, and that audio is me seeing that call to fire, freaking out, backing it up on the DVR, recording it on my phone, and sending you the video via text because I was like, dude, this is number one. We just found number one again. Because for us, Adam Sandler and Kevin James at Michigan, 5 or 6 years ago, that was our number one. But we now have a new number one.
I tried to get that guy on the show. I couldn't find out really who he is because his name wasn't on the video recording that you did for me.
Oh, yeah.
And so I actually contacted, I think that was Phoenix. I contacted Phoenix Raceway. They didn't say anything. I tried to get like video rights to be able to do that. I mean, I tried everything to get this guy on and failed in all respects. But that's our picks guy. So who are we picking? And I think we have to be nice to the folks that are with us. So let's let Mr. Tyre make his pick for the Daytona 500.
The pick for the Daytona 500, I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin.
It's a good pick. I watched him in practice earlier today, talking about how he just kind of backed off one of the 4 or 5 car drafts. He backed off about a half a straightaway and caught him in 3 laps.
And there's all this. I mean, obviously, Junior is the guy everybody's talking about and everything, and maybe even Kyle Busch from winning one of the duels. But Hamlin, if you go look at his record right now on restrictor plate races, he's up there. I think it's Junior Hamlin in that order.
Yeah, in terms of finish, for sure. Hamlin, he just doesn't win as many as Junior does, and
well,
so
even
you don't.
He's winning things like the duels and winning things like the exhibition stuff and blah blah blah.
I think he won his first Budweiser shootout and he won his first duel, like as a rookie, and everybody's like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
yeah. Sherwin, your pick.
No. Long shot. I'm going to pick, and that's not really a long shot. That's not even fair to say. I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney in that 21 Wood Brothers car.
Interesting. So what led you to that?
The Fords are fast. That car's always been competitive on plate tracks for sure. And Blaney's a wheel man. I think he finished either second or third in his duel.
Gotcha. So Tyre has picked Joey Logano in the last race of the season. I'm picking him for the first race in the season. So,
well, if memory serves me correctly, who won last year?
Somebody.
I think it was Joey Logano.
It might have been Joey Logano. So I'm all about the repeats in all these questions here. So I'm in for the repeat on the 500. I'm in for the repeat on the whole ordeal.
Unoriginal.
Very unoriginal. Well, unoriginal. Give me a break. You want me to pick Junior? Is that who you want me to pick?
No, that's why I didn't. That's why I didn't.
And that's why I didn't too. Now I'll tell you the truth.
We're going to call that picking under caution.
Picking under caution.
Picking under caution. I like it.
All right.
So I was going to pick Kansas, except he's in like his third backup car, and I can't pick like third backup car right now.
Somebody made a reference. This is a stick and ball reference I actually like. He said he's on his third string car, so that's pretty good.
Well, before you get out of here, Tyre, one thing that we ask everybody before they get out is the one thing that they would change in NASCAR, and we've asked it to everybody now and have gotten some real cool answers. And I think it's we're going to continue that trend just because of those answers. So, and if for the folks who haven't heard, I don't care if it means butts in the seats or eyeballs on the TV or just make it more fun for the person answering the question. So, what do you think? What's one thing you'd change about NASCAR if you could?
Oh man,
you only get one.
I'm going to lose all but like 3 followers. Y'all are going to be the only followers. I don't even think Sherwin knows who I am. I don't think he on Twitter or not.
Well, as many times as you've hedged your bet before every one of these answers, you're at negative followers now. You got to owe some people something.
Oh, don't tell me he went against Junior. That ain't going to happen. No. Oh, God, this is going to sound horrible, but you just have to understand. Receive it in the spirit in which it was given. I think NASCAR needs to probably get back to the business of listening to the drivers, listening to the team owners, running the business and the technology of NASCAR, and not putting all their stock in what every fan has to say. I think it's great they reach out to their fans because the other sports don't do it. I think it's great that they do that. But I see a lot of inconsistency in these, and a lot of what the fans say. A lot of the people that are complaining right now about how horrible this new system is. The chase system is horrible. This caution clock, I haven't seen it. I just know it's going to be horrible. I don't know about this overtime line, but there's no way it can be good. It's just going to have to be horrible. And the charter system has got to be a conspiracy. But then I can guarantee you they're all going to be tuned in this Sunday watching some great races. If they're not tuned in right now, fixing to watch the trucks kick some serious butt, watch my guy Jordan Anderson wheel that truck around the track.
All right, Jordan Anderson, row 14.
Love him. Love that guy. I guess, people are just so hinky about the way that they go about things. I think NASCAR needs to run NASCAR. And it seems like when they do it, they get a lot of pushback. Funny thing about it is we're all going to be tuned in watching it. So let them run the business. That's my opinion. Sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. That's the whole point of this thing. We wanted a fan opinion podcast because we felt like a lot of times our opinions don't align with mainstream fans. If we look at the bell curve of how people respond to NASCAR reaching out, I believe we're in the tails somewhere. I don't know which side. But we're in the tails, and that's why we started doing this. That's why we wanted to spend the time talking into this round, blue, spongy thing. And certainly to hear that from guests. Like, we're not here to pull punches. We're here to talk about what our passion is.
Well, yeah, Ryan Ellis wanted to do a third of a season on dirt, a third in a bull ring, and a third on a super speedway. So I love the answers we're getting. I love the answers. So very cool. Evan, before you go, anything you want to plug?
Oh, I just want to say, I want to give a big shout out to the people that have supported me so far. Y'all, obviously, all my friends, my family, my followers that have been putting up with the hours of me being up at my computer, on the phone. Haley Moody, Garrett Smithley, Ryan Ellis, Robbie Lyons, Cassie Gannis, Jordan Anderson, all these people that gave me a shot, even as a little nobody in the media world of NASCAR. I love them all dearly. I'm so grateful that these folks are giving me a chance. I feel truly blessed to be a part of it. So that's kind of where I land with that.
Well, be sure to follow him at T Right Front Tire and on the interwebs there at therightfronttire.com. And that's Evan Stark. Evan, really appreciate you being on the podcast. Hopefully we'll do this again sometime.
Oh, I certainly look forward to it. I appreciate the opportunity, guys.
All right, man. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for joining us, Evan.
Well, that was great, man.
Wow. We backed a great interview up last week with another great interview this week, so that was really cool.
Like I said, I feel like this one's a co-host even type of thing. So that was
he's got
really
his
cool.
Media stuff together for sure.
So
I'm about to get into beer number 3.
Ooh, that's new on the podcast. Number 3. I'm digging it. So we got a package from my sister. I would say PETM podcast biggest fan. And figured we'd just go ahead and open it live on the podcast. Why not? And it's
very excited to be watching along.
Oh, she's
awesome.
watching along. Thank you to all the Periscope followers, by the way. Everybody following on Periscope and watching. And we do this every week. And we have the Periscope going. So give us feedback. And we are actually in a roundabout way. So our esteemed producer, the Frizz11, is over there with the Twitter takeover. And she's watching on Periscope, watching the questions come in, and she's texting them to me on the.
Yeah, she's actually pretty instrumental to our ability to stay connected with the live audience via Twitter or Periscope. So we really appreciate her doing that.
So let's go ahead and open.
And get into that thing.
My understanding, this is like a Valentine's Day gift. I know we're a few days after that now, but it came in for Valentine's Day, and so we've got.
That's all right. Today was Valentine's payday for a lot of folks.
That's right. We've got. SpongeBob and Patrick on the front of the card, and it says, "And now the Valentine you've been waiting for." And on the inside, it says, "This one. You were waiting, weren't you? Anyway, hope your Valentine's Day bubbles over with happiness. Heart, Steph. Happy V-Day, guys. Hope you enjoy these. Thought you might need a more festive, quote-unquote, drink." So go ahead and open it up, man.
Uh-oh.
I
get to open it?
We hear that we are the Patrick and SpongeBob.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right, one piece of tissue at a time. All right, what do we
open them like a grandma over there.
No, hold on. All right,
it says PETM on the front of that bag. That's a fancy deal.
This looks the most interesting to me.
Dump it out.
How about this?
What do we have?
Oh, this is like one of those things that's going to blow up my face. You're on that.
Let me see of it. Jelly Belly Draft is what it says.
Oh, it's got jelly beans in it.
Oh, it's
beer-flavored jelly beans?
Beer-flavored jelly
beans? Oh, hell
beans.
yes. That's happening right now.
Yeah, it is. This is me pulling it open. What else you got there?
Well, it looks like some kind of a wrapped-up chocolate bar, but it's individually monogrammed to Serena, Ricky, and Sherwin.
All right. Bring it on.
There's yours.
Chocolate, she
looks
says.
Like it's probably chocolate.
Let's open it up. Oh, wow. I've got a brown ale, 55% cocoa, dark chocolate with peanuts, and roasted in brown ale. Very cool. This is awesome. What you drinking? I'm drinking chocolate.
I got an IPA, milk chocolate with hops.
Oh, neat.
34% cocoa. That sounds awesome.
Serena?
I got a porter, dark chocolate with almonds. She knows me well.
She does know you well. Thank you, Stephanie. That is fantastic. I love it.
If y'all hadn't figured it out yet, we like beer stuff.
Yep.
And actually, who was it that got onto me? I think it was my mom. I was like, beer goes good with ice cream. She looked at me goofy. I'm like, actually, it does. The bitterness and the sweetness, they're tantalizing flavors. So I got to get into these jelly beans.
Yeah, I'm eating on this beer-flavored jelly bean. And that's, it kind of tastes like beer, and then it gets real sweet toward the end there. So, really cool.
I could eat those.
I like it. Now it's stuck in my mouth, and I'm going to sound...
It's going to be impossible to do radio.
Yeah, it's a horse eating on peanut butter here.
What did we want to get to? I mean, we always want to close with some kind of a NASCAR thing and then get into our regular closing type stuffs.
Well, sure. We had a few more topics, but, we're running into our normal time frame, so really appreciate old Right Front Tire, Right Front Tire joining us, and maybe we'll do that.
I think we're going to do that again. I guess we'll have to share with NASFARC, but they do a pretty good podcast over there, too. We plugged them last week.
Very cool. Ryan Ellis, where did he end up?
Here's to you, bud.
Cheers,
Ryan
man.
Ellis. Ryan Ellis did not qualify for tonight's race.
Bummer.
You have created fans for life, my friend.
And no matter who we get on the podcast, he was the first driver. It don't matter.
That's right. That's right. Oh, I forgot about taste this thing.
What is this?
It's going to shock you.
Otra vez. That means another time or once again.
Just have
or
a
again. Go stop. Ooh,
that's really
that'll
different,
get after
isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
Cactus,
kind of like a cactus pear is what I was thinking.
That's what it is.
Oh, there you go. Cactus pear. Otra vez. Go style. All right. Yeah. Cool. So we've opened the present. Let's do
cactus and grapefruit.
Let's do a couple of these real quick, or at least one.
Oh, shouting out.
There he is. I might have blown him out again. I don't know. I'm going to give a shout out. I was up in New York this last week, and yesterday with the Can-Am Duels going on, went online, tried to search for a bar that was that had NASCAR races, found this one. Actually, the first one said the first hit that I got was a gay sports bar. And
nice.
I said, well, you know what? I'm a big enough NASCAR fan that if I have to,
why not?
I'll go
saddle up. Might be a pretty interesting environment.
Maybe give me a few drinks for me.
Well, let's hold the phone on that.
I ain't that good looking. I hear you. Second hit, though, was a place called Foley's. And I'm going to shout them out right here. Foley's New York bar. It's FOLEYSNY on Twitter on 33rd Street there in New York. Called them up beforehand. I said, hey, y'all got the race going on? And they said, yeah, we got the race going on. Come on. They're kind of an Irish pub, but they've got a ton of TVs there. Always have the race on.
Awesome.
They stuck me at a bar stool right in front of the race, and I was watching that. And sure enough, they come by with a big old box. I think I put it on Twitter. A big old box filled with cans of Sweetwater 420, the local beer. I mean, sitting here in Atlanta, where maybe
they sell
3 miles.
Beer like at the stadium. Like
yeah,
they can't come around with an ice bucket full of beer.
Well, that wasn't an ice bucket. It was just a big box.
Oh, he was about to load the cooler.
Yeah, he was loading the cooler up. But yeah, it was like, you have 420 and the race? I feel like I'm sitting at home. This is fantastic.
That's very cool.
Big shout out to Foley's Bar. Appreciate y'all hosting my stupid butt. I think I was the only one watching that race, but boy, was I watching.
Yeah, I was watching too.
We got trucks about to start, so we need to go ahead and
green flag 752.
Close this old deal out. What do you think?
Why not?
All right. Well, we'll bring up the music like so. Make it sound.
If y'all want a sticker.
Ooh, talk to us about stickers now.
Sticker. I saw Drunk Brian France actually posted a picture that he'd received that and thanked us for it not being hate mail or maybe like a dog poop bomb or something that he would normally receive from fans.
It was a real funny
tweet us. Email us, PETM at PETMpodcast.com. We got the Facebook going over there, too. And I'll send you a picture or a sticker.
Yeah, just let us know. And like you said, PETMpodcast.com. Can't be excited enough about the new website.
Still excited. I don't know. I'm sure we talked about it last week.
That's right.
But, yeah, we have our own host site, and that's super cool.
Yeah, so y'all give us a follow. I'm Tailgate Mayor at Tailgate Mayor.
And I am Andrew Sherwin, pregame engineer at Pregame ENG.
And we will talk to y'all next week.
Thumbs up.